Hello, I'm back. So yesterday was my first day trading after being away for 2 weeks. I got back on Monday afternoon and managed to stay awake into the evening after being overseas. And then yesterday I was kind of out of it, but I traded a little bit. So I'm going to talk you through the trades that I took yesterday and today. Yesterday there was actually a whole bunch of different things that I did, and I did it all with small size, and it was because I knew that I'd been gone from trading for 2 weeks and I was probably going to be a little rusty, so I was just sort of getting the feel of things again, getting back into the groove. And yesterday happened to be that day where we had a really nice pullback. So overall, I was green at the end of the day yesterday with a small win, and happy about that because I'd had a bunch of losers as I tried to sort of get my footing again. And today, I really feel like I hit my stride. I'm sort of back in it and firing on all cylinders. So I'm going to walk you through first what I did yesterday, the best trade that I did yesterday, which was QQQ, and then I'll get on to the stuff I did today. So yesterday, I basically caught the bottom of this dip. And you can see here, QQQ has been not a daily EMA 12 rider. It's like way above. So I look at this and I'm like, okay, it must be like 12 hour. And yeah, there it is. There's the 12 hour EMA 12 holding. And so yesterday we dipped to it. And so I looked at that as like a good opportunity. Now, that was after I thought it might hold the 4 hour. And I think I made some attempts at the 4 hour right off the open, and that didn't work. And so there was a lot of different things I tried, but I'll just talk about the one that I did that was awesome, which was the 12 hour EMA 12, which I took on the 5-minute chart. And here it is. So I was aware that we were basically riding the 5-minute EMA 12 down into this blue line here, which is the 12 hour EMA 12. So as soon as we get to this dip here, that was the location where I knew I was interested. So I know that I tried on this extension and I got risk free and then I got stopped out. But when I got stopped out, that was not the end of the trade for me, because it doesn't have to hit that line exactly. It just needs to be in that zone. So when it kept going down here, you can see it's a 5-minute stair step all the way down. So I was like, well, I'll give it one more shot. Like, I'll give it a shot. I tried it on a hold above the 12 hour EMA 12. I'm going to try it on a dip below and see if that holds. So as soon as this as soon as the 5-minute stair step broke, I got long there. And my fill was actually better than that. If you look down on like I think maybe 2-minute, I'm not sure exactly where the 5-minute break was, but I know that I was like somewhere in here below that. Like it pushed up, it broke the level, which I think was this one here. I think this was the 5-minute break right there. I'll confirm it when I go back to the 5-minute. But when I hit my market buy, it was coming back. Like it had broken it, came back, and I hit market buy. So my buy was somewhere like right in here. And my stop was going to be down here. And just looking for it to get to the 5-minute EMA 12. So let's go back to the 5, have a look. Yeah, so my fill was above the break line, and so that means my risk reward was pretty good. So, and I, being that I was just back and I was trading with smaller size and just getting my footing, I did get risk free as soon as it got to this level. I didn't wait for it to break the 5-minute EMA 12 here, this blue line. And so as soon as I did that, I was like, cool, just hands off. I'm going to let this thing go. And boy, did it go. The only thing that sucked is there's somebody that I highly respect in the chart guys, and he was talking about how hourly lower highs are expected. And so rather than letting this go overnight, I basically took profit on one of these spikes in here somewhere and just sold my remaining position. And then I wake up this morning to a gap up, and I was like, ugh, I should never do that. I should never let other people's analysis dictate my actions, because this entry was so good, and this has been a 12-hour rider for a long time. It can absolutely keep going. Yes, we did get to like daily overbought and we're weekly overbought, but who cares? Like, this rally could just keep going. You just never know. And so that was a mistake on my part. So I chalked that up to that was actually, like, of all the mistakes I made yesterday coming back, that was my biggest mistake, and the one that I took the hardest when I was doing my review at the end of the day. So came in today thinking, okay, I'm not even going to really listen to what anybody else is saying on the community. I'm other than trade ideas. I had my own ideas coming into the day because yesterday after hitting that trade and feeling good about myself, I spent a lot of time looking at charts and I came up with a bunch of ideas for things I was interested in today. So another thing is when I decided that I was going to start, while I was away, I reviewed a lot of the trades that I'd been doing in the weeks prior. And I found that there were a lot of trades that I was getting shaken out of because of short-term price action when they were all good ideas. And if I had just been using different stops, things would have been better. And so I decided that I was going to start doing that when I came back, using wider stops and ideally, letting them run, like letting them go, because really what I'm talking about doing is playing daily time frame trades. So two of the trades that I was looking at were IONQ, which I'll show you here. Look at this on the daily time frame. And I see, you'll see what I wrote up here on the top in this blue box here is anything over YLOD, because I'd seen that it's basically been holding this EMA 12 on the daily time frame and like setting daily higher highs and higher lows, and it had set a higher high, and like I thought this has the potential to just keep running from here. It could also come back down and touch the daily EMA 12 again before it does anything else. It could just digest sideways here, like who knows what's going to happen. But I knew that I was interested in this thing continuing, like it could just keep daily stair-stepping up. So I thought, well, it's probably worth a shot over yesterday's low if it comes in the morning. And so off the open, so we had this nice move up yesterday, started coming down off the open, and I was interested. And I actually took a few attempts on this, and I'll show you those attempts. So on this dip here, you can see I drew a little line right there. That was my first attempt. This was a mistake. And so I really shouldn't have taken that position there because there was no signal, right? Like it was just coming in. There was not even a 1 minute prior bar high break or anything like that. I just was like, it's dipping, I'm going to take some. And it was really just a starter position, but that's not a thing I do. I'm not a starter position guy. I'm not like, get a little bit here, get a little bit lower, get a little bit lower, and then go. I'm like, no, I need a signal to go for a trade. And so I did it here when it kept, and by the way, when I did that position, my stop was below the prior day low over here. Because again, that's part of what I want to try to do is just have the wider stop, trust the wider stop. It came down lower and was a 1 minute stair step. And when it broke that stair step, I added to that position there. And then it came up and my average was basically right where this pink line is here at that point. And so when it came up, it couldn't go higher and was rejecting the 1 minute EMA 12 and started to come down again. I just got out of that trade right there for basically, I think I lost like $2 or something like that. And again, that was like, oh yeah, you don't do this. Like, why did I do that? That's not a thing I do. So I was glad to be out of it without really losing anything. And then I decided to give it one more go here, right there on a dip. This is a thing that I do, which is when it comes down and it's going quickly, I might take a shot with a really tight risk to the prior low, thinking that this might form a higher low and go, which again, that's not actually the correct thing to do. The correct thing to do would be to wait for a prior bar high to break because you're taking a long shot here. This is like a total guess. And I ended up taking a decent loss there, which put me in the red on the day because I just had a feeling this was going to go, which is stupid. So again, that happened. And then I was kind of abandoning this idea on this stock for the day. And then what happened, it does end up rallying and setting this higher high here against this high. And so at that point I was interested in again. And I thought, oh, we're looking at, an inverse head and shoulders. We've got this guy, we could be going for this guy. So as soon as this high happened, I was like, oh, now we have the potential for a higher low. It came down, hit this low here, and it started bouncing back up. And I took a shot right there on this candle here. Again, my stop was way down here. And so I didn't really care too much about it. I was like, well, I'll just see if it works. And it did end up bouncing. And at that point, I was like, okay, now I'm in this position where I've been basing my trade on the prior day low, but I've got a signal here on the smaller time frames on today that are pretty good that this could hold. And if it doesn't hold, I'm kind of not interested in this trade anymore. Like if this right here ends up coming lower and stopping, like then this whole pattern that I was interested in playing is kind of a goner. And so I did get risk-free and put my stop right there. And this is not something that I'm sure I'm going to keep doing. It's just something that I'm practicing because I want to, hang on one second. I want to use these wider stops, but I think that when it makes sense to get risk-free on the day's price action, then you should just do that and tighten it up. The only thing that sucks is then your size is smaller because you've risked to a different spot. And I don't even know if that's something I'm going to continue doing. I'm just kind of trying it out and seeing how it goes. But so far it's been working well. So anyway, there was my risk-free spot. I ended up selling a portion when this stair step, it was like a 2-minute stair step, I think. No, 1-minute stair step. I sold a portion right there again. So now I was like only a quarter position left, or a third position. Can't remember. Anyway. And then after that, I switched to the 5-minute time frame and was just like, well, as long as it's setting 5-minute higher lows, I'm gonna keep holding. And the last stop I put was here, and you can see it just stopped me out while I was recording this video. Okay, so that's IONQ. Then I'll go to BE. This is a good example of why that method is really good. So let's go back to the daily time frame. What I was interested in here was we had this nice move up, a nice higher low set here, and then we're coming up. Like this could just balance and bull flag out of it. I'm not sure, but I thought this high and then a higher low on this day, that'd be Tuesday, means that if this low holds, then I want to be in this for the move up. So I was looking for, again, another what I call over YLOD trade. So today I want to find a spot to buy this stock over yesterday's low because I expect that low to hold as a daily higher low at daily EMA 12. So I was super interested in this one, started watching it on the open, and it was dipping nice and hard. I was more patient with this one, unlike IONQ. I didn't make any silly initial trades. I just kept waiting for it to give me a spot to get in. And it did it where? I think it was on the 2-minute. Yeah, so we had this inside bar, and the inside bar broke, and you can see I was a little sloppy getting in. I got in a little high here, so unlike, there was another trade I did where I got a good fill. I think I mentioned it Qs yesterday. Anyway, didn't get the good fill on this one, got a higher fill, but that's okay. And you'll notice that after it moved up here, it came down and went lower than what my stop would have been. Like technically, my old me would have put a stop right here, and I would have needed to get risk-free, and I wouldn't have done it, and I would have stopped out, and then it would have gone without me. That didn't happen because my actual stop was prior day low down here. And so I was risking to down here, knowing that it could keep going lower from that spot. But if it holds these lows and then goes up and allows me to get risk-free on a low set here, then I should do that. So I was in there risking to prior day low, and I was just waiting patiently just to see what happens. And it came up, came lower. I was a little bummed out, but then it immediately came back up, came up here at higher. And as soon as I was at the spot where I could get risk-free against this low, I did. So that would be right over here. So as soon as it got up here, I sold a portion there, and then I raised my stop to this level here. And so this to me was kind of a really great validation because, you know, I had a good sense that this was going to set a low here. I was not trading this price action. I was using the price action to give me a signal of where's the right place to really start positioning, but I wasn't using these levels as my stop, and that allowed me to stay in this trade, which is still doing really well. I ended up on the 5-minute time frame. It was a stair step, so I sold a portion to get risk free, and then I held the rest and was watching it go. It sort of broke the stair step briefly here, but then kept going, And I had sort of been raising a stop below this stair step. And so when it broke here, that's where I took another portion off. And now this trade is really working well for me. Super, super happy with this one. I'm going to try to swing this. We'll see how it goes. Like, it can absolutely decide to chop lower and come in and stop me out. I don't really care. But for my purposes, done with this trade for now. It's still going with the position I have left, and super excited about that. And then last but not least, QQQ. Today, after getting out last night, or yesterday afternoon, and then it gapping overnight, this gap up, when I woke up this morning and I saw it gapping, I was like, oh my God, you dummy, I can't believe you did that. But you know, now we definitely we're in a position where we are now scouting a higher low, hourly or 4 hour or something. So I knew that any dips coming today, I should be interested in a higher low. And so down here on the 5 minute, show you what I did. So it was kind of choppy all morning, and I almost expected that. Like, actually, if you go back to the daily time frame on this, I was expecting that one of two things is going to happen. We're going to get a higher low, and it's just going to keep rallying out of here, or we're going to end up in balance, where this low, the 12-hour low that was set yesterday, and the prior all-time high, we're just going to balance in here for a while. And so one of those two things was the most likely scenario for me after that move up overnight. And so I thought, well, if we get a dip, I'm going to try it. And so on the 5 minute, you can see it held the 4 hour here in after hours, held it again in regular trading hours. And you can see it's like kind of loosey-goosey, right? Like, it went quite far below and then set a higher low and went with it. So I didn't trade this crap. I was just like, not interested. I was just watching and waiting patiently. And this is a pattern that is something that I really, really like, and it's something that I've noticed is, so if you get a move like this, where you get a nice sharp move down, and you don't end up buying this, because this was frankly below the 4 hour EMA 12 that I was interested in. These are wide body candles, and so there was no tight little risk for me to get down here. I just waited for this to play out. I didn't really know. We were too far away from any level back here to play against, so I needed this to give me some sort of signal today that this thing was good to go. And so when we get this sharp move down, a really nice rally out of that gives you enough room for a higher low here on like the 1 or 2 minute time frame. But meanwhile, on the 5 minute time frame, what is it doing? It's riding the 5 minute EMA 12 down, right? So I'm aware that this is a 5 minute EMA 12 rider, and any of these candles could just keep rejecting and pushing this thing down. So this like rally up here, higher low, this isn't the best 5 minute higher low, because it's a higher low below a declining 5 minute EMA 12. So why would I take the trade where I did? Because you can see here where this blue line is, this is where I took my trade at this level. I did it because of the 2 minute time frame, where I knew that on the 2 minute after this move up, we had enough space to try to get a higher low on the 5, and I was waiting for a higher low on the 2 to get long on. So this is all choppy, choppy, choppy. Then we get a nice move up, then we get a higher low, and boom, that's where I got in. And so right down here was my long spot there. And technically, if I'm trading it as a 2 minute trend change, that would be the higher low I should go for. But we got such a nice move up that I just kind of let it work. And I thought, oh, this would be better if I managed to risk it to down here for that 5 minute higher low. And so I let it go, knowing that it could just reject, get stuffed up here and come down. But I really like that this had this nice solid rally here on the 2 minute, giving you enough room to have a nice sloppy 5 minute higher low, which ended up working. I got risk-free right there, and then away it goes, and I'm just sort of riding the rest of this position out for the remainder of the day to see what it can do. And so that's it. That's my trades over the last 2 days since I got back. This has me feeling super confident again. I was worried I was going to be totally rusty coming back after being gone for 2 weeks without trading. But 2 solid green days, all trading with smaller size than I was before I left, because like I said, I've been gone. I didn't want to just rush into things, but super happy with this. So I think in the coming days, I will switch back to regular size and get in the groove. All right. Hope that helps anybody out there, and I hope those trades make sense. I'm open to your feedback if you have any.